Rage on that beat, going crazy. Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Welcome everyone to the second edition of the AI for Connectivity Hackathon in Barcelona and online, where we're focusing on building resilient networks. This amazing hackathon, to everybody who's watching us online, is happening also at the amazing Entity Data Living Lab in Barcelona, and we are streaming live in here. We've got almost 1,200 participants who registered to this event, and we're more than happy to welcome you all today, because that's your weekend. That's the weekend where you focus on building something groundbreaking to essentially make the world a better connected place. We've just wrapped up the first edition a month ago in Geneva, and now it's the next part of the whole series. We've got an amazing lineup of speakers for today, and I'd like to encourage you to ask questions on our Discord chat. We'll be answering the questions live, to keep close attention to the beautiful workshops that we've got prepared. And we'll be kicking off with great speeches from our guests. So let's welcome to the stage Naroa Zurutuza, the CDO and Barcelona Technology Center College from Giga, to give the Giga opening words. Welcome, Naroa.
Thanks, Joanna. Hi everyone, and welcome to this second edition of the AI for Connectivity Hackathon. As Joanna said, we had the first one around a month ago in Geneva, and after the successful that edition, we are super excited to be here in Entity Data Living Labs. I also take this moment to thank Entity Data for offering us the space. What a better space to spend the weekend than this one, with the views and everything. On our way, this hackathon, it's the intro to the MWC week that's upcoming and starting on Monday. As you all know, next week, Barcelona will be hosting the largest telco conference in the world, and I would say that probably even the largest conference or one of the largest ones, that will bring around 100,000 people to Barcelona. And during the next week, leaders, telco companies, and others will be sharing, presenting key innovations that they've been working on around the telco industry, all the way from the next phase of 5G networks, even 6G, automation, IoT, robotics, and of course AI. I'm sure that AI will be part of many conversations during next week. As technology is evolving very quickly, AI has the opportunity, or may disrupt, how networks are built and how they operate, or they manage, all the way from planning, optimizing traffic loading, also data center management, and beyond. AI is also changing a little bit requirements for our networks. As AI solutions are becoming more streamlined, they require higher capacity, higher bandwidth, lower latency, and that's also changing how networks are designed, deployed, and requirements that we have around them. However, all these technological advances also have the risk of leaving behind the most remote and the most disconnected. Taking the example of 5G networks, they are predominantly deployed in urban areas, in cities, and not so much in remote areas. There are some remote areas that still operate in legacy networks such as 3G or even 2G in many cases. And that's why we're here, to make sure that these new technologies, advancements, not only benefit the wealthiest and the most connected, but also reach the poorest and less connected ones. Imagine, for example, if some operators stop operating on 2G, 3G networks, what would happen to these communities that don't have the right equipment, right infrastructure to keep up with the advancements? We believe that AI has, in particular open source AI, has the potential to help us build these future public networks. And we'll spend the next two days and a half looking into these different solutions around AI that can help accelerate connectivity and help us build these future networks, in particular public networks. We had several promising solutions that were submitted in the Geneva hackathon that we had in the Geneva edition. Some of them looked into even combining AI with blockchain to improve public procurement processes and increase transparency in these processes. There were others looking into how to optimize traffic and using AI to do that. During these 2 days, we'll build upon these solutions, but also look into new ones. The last thing I'll say, it's about the importance of open source. There are two directions that networks can take. One it's open, one it's proprietary or closed. Traditionally, telco industry has been quite closed and proprietary, but we believe that the future can be open and that we can play a role in changing that and making that happen. So that's why during these days, in addition to sourcing and looking into new ideas, innovative ideas, we also want to create and build a community that can help us achieve this goal of connecting every school by 2030. With that, before I wrap up, thanks to our partners, mentors, judges, and all the organizers for organizing and making this event happen. And I guess have fun over the next two days and a half, and hope to see great solutions by Sunday, Monday. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, Naroa. It's a pleasure for us to have you here and give these motivational words to all our participants. And as Naroa said, we all cannot wait to welcome you to this community with bigger goals. And we really hope that this hackathon is just the start of your journey to essentially making the world a better connected place. And now I would like to welcome to this stage our next guest, who is Juanjo Lopez Perez, Head of Data Analytics for UN and European organizations, with Entity Data opening words.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just kidnapping 1 minute of Juanjo's speech. So I am Lucia Valcarce. I am a manager in Entity Data based in Geneva. We've been working with Naroa and with Diego and everyone organizing all this. And I just wanted to let you know a little bit. I am a manager. I work specifically for United Nations, and let you know what Entity Data does with United Nations. So we started our venture with United Nations about 15 years ago, with starting from Valencia office, started everything. And I think now we work with most, if not all, United Nations specialized agencies with headquarters, everything, with more than 1,000 people currently working in projects and with United Nations, and in topics like sustainability, climate change, with GIGA, with refugee systems, with migrants. So we are very much, and Entity Data has been very much attached to the mission of United Nations, including myself. I worked before Entity Data 10 years in United Nations, and also including artificial intelligence systems, which my colleague Juanjo is going to let you know and tell you a bit more about it. Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy to have you all here.
Thank you, Lucia. Okay, going a bit deep diving on what we do in artificial intelligence in Entity Data, we have a specialist team that works worldwide, not only for United Nations, but also for European organizations. So in this sense, we are proud to work in and collaborate in this kind of projects intended to improve how the citizens, the children, can become better in terms of education, in terms of culture, in terms of healthcare. So in my team, aside of the data scientists, ML engineers, data engineers, we also have people intended to help organizations in defining AI strategies, in order also to innovate, to create new solutions, new platforms. So in this sense, it's a multicultural team with more than 30 nationalities. I'm not exactly at all, because we're increasing the team every month. So all the different projects that we are leading are very, very interesting. Just to give an example, we recently did a pre-studio about how AI could anticipate and mitigate some migrations that could come in the world in terms of massive human movements. Or another one that we recently started in a country, in fact, is Ukraine, where we are developing a 3D platform in which we are collecting all the different initiatives intended to rebuild the country. So in this sense, this platform is intended to get some donors in order to do afterwards the construction. So we do an impressive number of projects, very impacting, and the team is very proud as well. So finally, just to remark that we are very honored to host this event. I encourage you to participate, to be there with your ideas, to be disruptive, but also be focused. So that's all. Thank you very much and enjoy this long weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Juanjo. And once again, as Nara said, we'd like to thank you so much for providing us with this venue for this incredible event, because that's the place where actually creativity can spark. I wish everybody who's watching the stream live could be here with us in here. Thank you so much. And now I would like to welcome our next speaker to the stage, which is Paweł Czech, the president of New Native, with Lab.ai opening words.
Hi, everybody. So, welcome, everybody. What of you? What of you? Thank goodness it's cold, so we can actually keep you here over the weekend. If it would be warm, I can't imagine with this view, everybody would be focused on hacking. So first of all, big thank you to Giga, to the whole team there. Amazing team that helps us to get everything organized and sponsors these series of events. Huge thank you to NTT Data for your support, both on the providing mentors and providing insights into the industry. And obviously the location is amazing as well. The simple fact I think that everybody understands today is that the way we build software has drastically changed. So I invite you to take a step back to yesterday, where the world was different than it is today. And a week ago, which frameworks did we not have that we have today? Which open source agentic frameworks have dropped in the last 72 hours? What about the last 12 months, 24 months? Who remembers GPT-3? Who remembers the first bipedal walkers? And now we're here. Now we're here where everybody can be a builder, and the new coding language is English. The human in the loop is extremely valuable, extremely important. Very hard. You guys are facing a big challenge. Spending 72 hours of your brain power building prototypes, building MVPs is a huge challenge. So it's okay to fail. It's okay to succeed. And we'll help you find somebody. You can also do it through the Discord channels. You can find people all around the world. Hopefully this is better. Let's see. So you can find people all around the world that are willing and ready to build with you today. So I think you can find your tribe, right? People that are like-minded and, very importantly, like-hearted, yeah? That love to build. And there's a certain way of thinking. There's a way of organizing the system that is the world around you. And you can organize that system to actually build something that's meaningful, productive. You have people from the telecommunication industry. I'm gonna put them on the spot here, the team from NTT, the team from Giga. You can go and talk to them about what are the real problems. Yeah, you can do a little back and forth and figure out what are the things that are actually necessary, what would matter. And then, if you're really good, in 72 hours, you'll have a product, a website, and hopefully a start of a company, and you have the biggest telecommunication congress in the world happening right at your doorstep. You can go and get your first investment, get your first clients, get your feedback from people all around the world. And that's why we're here, right? And if You don't have somebody on your team that you need? Go and find them in South Africa. Go and find them in the US. Go and find them in Saudi Arabia or Australia. Invite them to help you. Tell them that you're going to go to the World Mobile Congress and you're going to chop the hell out of your idea. I think it's going to be an amazing energy. I would full of food. Today we're going to stay with you until 9:30, right? So let everybody get a team, get going, start building. And I'll leave you with this one thought or this one idea, which I really enjoy. And it's from one of my favorite authors, Kurt Vonnegut. So he said that the act of creation is something beautiful. So you can write a poem, you can write a song, you can paint a picture, and just even if you throw it away, even if you crumble that piece of paper and throw it in the trash, you've created something. Your mind went from something, there was nothing, and then through the act of creation, there is something. And that's also building software, actually. There is nothing. It's a blank piece of, not paper. It's a blank screen with 3 blinking dots or 1 blinking dot. And at the end of the 72 hours, I hope that it will be that great poem, that great story, that great song that you want to turn into an album, that you want to turn into a whole saga, right? And this is what I think brings people real power. The ability to have an idea, create it, go pull something out of nothing. So, yeah, I'm glad you're here. Join us in this build out. Joanna, let's continue. And thank you everybody for coming. Talk to our team. We're happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Pavel, and I could not agree more. I honestly cannot wait to see what you fill this blank screens with during the next 48 hours. I've been personally at the first edition of this hackathon in Geneva, and we even have the winners of the first edition in Geneva with us today. So I'm sure you can learn a lot from them. And we are here all the time to answer all your questions. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the hackathon itself, so you feel fully secure to know what to do and are fully prepared to start building. Let's then start with the event schedule so you know what happens during the weekend. So right now I'll give you a small walk around about what will be happening. Then we'll have the intro from AIML API, our tech partner, whose resources you can use for building. Then we have the opening words from I2CAT. After that, we'll have the opening panel. The future of networks is open source with Ziad Madar and Yuria Gonfaus Alonso, moderated by Maria Antonia Bravo from Giga. After that, we'll have Emmanuel, our AI architect, to give you the full hackathon walkthrough, so you are 100% sure how to use our platform, how to submit your project properly, because we just, want you to feel secured with how to find a team. We'll give you a full guide on that. After that, for the on-site part, we'll move to networking and snacks. And for the on-site participants, we'll have the innovation coaching session with Cornelia Brezing. And for the online part, both and on-site actually as well, we'll have the Q&A session happening online on our Discord server. So everybody who's watching us online, head straight there. Who's on-site with us, we have everybody to help you right here. So feel free to reach out to any of the mentors that are on-site with us for help. And we'll close the doors around 9:30. Then swapping to tomorrow, I highly encourage everybody who is in here with us to come straight at 9 a.m. when we open the doors to maximize the hacking time, and we'll be here all the time to support you. So if you have any questions, we're here to answer them. Make sure to come on time. And then we'll have the workshop about how can AI really disrupt telecoms with Maria Lema from Weaver Labs. And at 1 p.m. we'll have a workshop on building Giga's GeoDB with Utkukan Otsuk from Giga. At 2 p.m. we'll have lunch, and we'll close the doors at 9 p.m. So it's 12 hours of coding, So get some sleep today and get ready for the real work. Regarding day 3, we'll open the doors at 9 a.m. as well. And we'll have a mentor hot desk, so you can just come and go straight to the mentors to ask them for help. And at 11 a.m., Emmanuel will give you a submission guide, which will also be streamed, same as the workshops on the day 2 that you can watch on our Twitch channel. And the submissions guide, what is it for? You need to submit your projects by 4 p.m. With your presentation, your demo, so the GitHub link, and the description. So I highly recommend watching that or actually attending it on site as well to make sure you don't have any issues while submitting your projects. And we'll close the doors on site at 5 p.m. So keep the date keep the hour in your head. 4 p.m. 2nd of March. That's the deadline to submit your project. Then, I'd love to remind you about the Hackathon Challenge, which is really important. Remember that our registration page, where you actually enroll to the event, is all the time available on our website. So keep this tab open on your browser. And if you have any questions, probably you'll find the answer there. If not, we're all the time available on Discord. So if you need any help, you can always ask for help, and we're here all the time to help you. So regarding the Hackathon Challenge, in this hackathon, we're developing open source AI-driven solutions that tackle challenges in designing and maintaining resilient networks. And we've got 3 themes by which we'd like to lead your prototypes, which is procurement and policy innovation. Then we have network design and strategic planning, and optimizing resource allocation. Before you submit your project, before actually you start building, make sure that what you're building is fully aligned with the Hackathon Challenge. This is really important because if it's not, you'll simply lose points and you'll not be able to win this hackathon. Make sure your project is on track with that. And if you're not sure, ask mentor. I highly encourage everybody to actually discuss with mentors the idea before you start building. You can do it both on site or on Discord just by tagging the mentor or calling for help. And Emmanuel will tell you later how to do that. Then if you'd like to learn more, our website, LabLab.ai, is full of resources that you can use. So head to LabLab.ai, and we've got on the header 2 important buttons, which is AI Tech and AI Tutorials. They are full of resources that can help you with building. If you're struggling with the idea, maybe you'll find some answers there. Highly recommend checking that out because it's full of knowledge. Then let's talk success criteria. We've got tons of amazing judges with both technical and business experience to judge your projects after your submissions. But the thing is, they'll be looking at 4 main success criteria, which are application of technology, so how effectively you implemented technology into your solutions. That will be judged. Then we've got business value, so it's not only about building the cool project, it's about the business value. If it actually changes the world, if it actually makes the world a very connected place, you need to think of that. Is it possible to actually take it further from this hackathon? This is important. Then we've got originality. So think of something that is unique, spark your creativity, and this is the best place for that. If you have a lot of ideas, just, put it to the mentor, ask what idea they think is best, and they will tell you. Go creative. And then we've got the presentation. So when you submit your project, you need to properly present it. So we'll need a video from you up to 5 minutes long when you present your solution. And you need to be clear on how you're using AI and open source for telecom solutions, because judges actually will be looking at that. So if you clearly highlight that in your presentations, it makes it easier for the judge and easier for you to actually score higher when you clearly say what your project is about. Then let's talk prizes. So we've got some amazing cash prizes for you. The prize pool is $5,000. So for the first place winner, we've got $3,000. For the second place, it's $1,500. And for the third place, it's $500. But that is not all. We've got something even better for you, in my opinion at least, cash is not everything. Cash you can use to actually develop your projects because, we all know how it is. But we've got an amazing acceleration opportunity. So for the winners, we've got an exclusive 6-week incubator program with Giga and LabLab Next, where you actually can take your project further than just these 48 hours that we've got now, which is an amazing opportunity for you to actually do something bigger. Then another very, very important thing, which is the Resource Hub. Everybody who's here, scan the QR code that is just shown right now on the screen, and you'll be able to enter the Resource Hub. Yeah, maybe I can move for you a little bit so everybody can scan it. The Resource Hub is the place where you can find all the important data sets, tools, and simulators tailored to this hackathon to help you analyze the connectivity gaps, optimize networks, and explore advanced technologies like 5G. And I've already heard a lot of people had some ideas to work on 5G. The Resource Hub is also available on the registration page for the hackathon. So if you forgot to scan the QR code and lost it, go to the registration page and it's linked there. And then I've got some important information to keep in mind. So once again, stay focused on the challenge. Check what the challenge is, check what the free paths that we suggested are, and before you start building, just validate it's on topic, because off-topic submissions will simply not be evaluated. Then talk to mentor, validate your idea, and then start building. That will simply save you some time. Then you really need to be specific about AI and open source, so clearly explain how you use that in your prototype. And then I'd like to remind you to prioritize the idea about the projects that you're making, then focusing on simple like UI or front end, because the idea, in 48 hours you cannot build that much, but you can come up with the amazing business value, high business value idea, and start building that. So focus on that, then on the really cute little presentation. And now I'd like to introduce Sergey Nuzhny, Head of Developer Relations from AIML API, to give you introduction on AIML API itself, how to use it to build your project. He's joining us online, so we'll turn on the stream right now. So welcome, Sergey.
Hi everybody. So I'll show you real quick how to access the promo code that you will be given for the hackathon from AIML API.
You gotta click Get API key on the main page.
Hi everybody. So I'll show you real quick. There, you sign up with Google. Here you gotta navigate to billing. If the promo code is for $20, and it usually is, you can select 19.6 here. Bang. Enter the promo code. It can be AI astronauts, right? As for one of the hacks, it can be different. You should check the LabLab Discord for that. Don't forget to check AIML API Discord too, because we got small contests there every week. We got workshops. We will be setting up developer office hours for the duration of the hack. So anyways, here you should enter either your credit card or PayPal. As soon as you do that, you click pay and subscribe and it's ready. Please, if you do not plan on using it after the hack, don't forget to cancel. And if you do, well, enjoy. If you do forget to cancel, please be nice to our support when you eventually come to them. They're there to help you, and they most certainly will. And yeah, everybody, good luck with the hackathon. I will link the cancellation tutorial, just like this one, right next to wherever you found this. So watch out for that in case you need some support there. And yeah, well, good luck. Hope you win this hack and AIML helps you along the way. See you at our servers.
All right. Let's now go to the important things, which is the promo code to actually use AIML API. So for all the participants, we've got 1,000 keys with $20 for using the... Yeah, I'll move a bit so you all take pictures. Yeah, so we've got $20 credits for 1,000 participants who would like to use AIML API, which is highly recommended. And the promo code is AIGIGA. So make sure to go to AIML API website and simply put the code down and start building. Now, I would love to welcome our another amazing guest, who is Sergi Figueroa Fernandez, Director of I2CAT, with I2CAT opening words. Welcome, Sergi.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me put this chat here. Okay, it works, yeah. Well, first of all, thanks Nora for the invitation here, people from Giga, organizing this event too. Well, I think that the presentation is very timing with the work that we do. Who am I? I am the General Director of a Research Innovation Center. We are working mostly on telecom, on internet. So one of the, I would say, largest teams that we have is on 5G and 6G. So we have around maybe now 80 people working on 6G. We have been working for 4 years now. But obviously 5G has been one of the key topics that we have been working for many years. Then we have a team on cybersecurity, on AI, on XR technologies too, on new space, because it's one of the key players also on delivering connectivity to rural areas or remote areas in that case. But anyway, so I think that the topics that we are covering today, I didn't know before the invitation about this type of hackathons, but I think it's very interesting because it's mostly, or to pass the, okay, perfect. Because it's something that we could be much more involved because of the topics that we have. So, okay. So they proposed me to give a keynote. So I said, okay, let's talk a bit about 5G and how it's empowering, basically going beyond limits. And I think that the AI is one of the key drivers that has made it happen. So I will just give a global overview, right? I will not spend that much time because it's 50 minutes, but the idea is that you get the picture that everything is changing. So we are in a new world, it's a new era. Things are happening really, really fast. Even for us, which are researchers, it's difficult to catch up with all the technology that's coming up week after week. And it's something that we have to speed up the developments to go to market. So it's changing the rules, the way that we were used to work in the past. So it's challenging. So, well, that's very clear. I think that you have mentioned this, right? What's the feature of connectivity? It's speed, intelligence, and seamless interaction to find possibilities. And this is the challenge that we have. We are in a converged world. It's not working anymore as silos. What we work is we work in connectivity, we work on security, we work on AI, and we have to converge all of them together. And here it plays a key role, open source, right? We will discuss on this later on. So the picture here is only to show you that we are going really, really fast. I mean, the same time that we were spending in the past to grow technology is the time that we are spending now. It's around 10 years that we have in each one of the technologies phases, right? But the issue is that it's growing exponentially, the use we have and the impact it has. And I think that from now on, the times will be shorter that we have newer technologies, because this is growing at a real, I mean, a speed that I have to say that I am surprised. Then, this is a big change from 5G to 6G. It's new radio, it's new technologies, which means that we are changing everything. Nothing, I mean, all the antennas, all the mobiles, the core network, everything is new. We are not leveraged in anything, I would say. Then this picture is also quite interesting because we can see where we are going to, right? I mean, we come from 4G. Let me see if it works. No, okay. This is the picture of what 4G was delivering. So what the impact of 5G was bringing to 4G networks, which means that we are having higher capacity, we can work at different mobility, the number of devices that we can support is much higher, the energy efficiency, the reliability, latency, but then it comes into the picture that we are in 6G. And then in 6G, we are improving even more 5G. I mean, I will not come into the problems that 5G has had in its deployment, because the problem is that on 4G, what we were doing is standardizing one technology. In 5G, one of the mistakes I would say personally is that we were working on 3 standards. And the problem is that 5G was announced when the first standard was done, but not when all the standards were done, which means that we were working on what's called a NSA technology and not an NSN standalone technology. So it means that it's from now on that we are starting to have a standalone technology which is not leveraged or based on 4G. And this is a big change. And the problem is that the expectations were killed because people were expecting the vision or the flavor of 5G when it was not yet ready. So now in 6G, things are changing, and they also plan to have it, I would say, if it's possible, in one bigger standard. But the idea is that they don't want to commit the same mistake again. Then you see all the figures, and they are amazing, which means that we are entering a new era of telecommunications. So then 6G, what's 6G, right? It's not just about technology. It's about, this picture is very nice because it shows that the fact that we have to be able to put together the digital world, the virtual world, and the physical world. And this is a challenge. This is complex. But this is the vision behind 6G. So the idea is that we are converging in terms of communications computing, in terms of conversions of digital and physical spaces, as I said. And then all this is what's the story behind 6G. There are much more, right? But the idea is that sometimes I have the example of putting the film that I saw from Steven Spielberg that was called, I think, Ready Player One. And this one was transmitting the feeling of what does it mean to sense in the technology and to transmit also feelings around. And this is all about that we have to be able when we have this technology. So it's a big change, and it will change also dramatically. The problem is that not everybody is ready for that, and it might create another digital divide because the society cannot catch up the technology so fast. And it's something that we have to take care of, right? So here is a picture that has to show you also a paradigm, because now you will be developing some applications and you also have to think on this thing, is that here you can see which is the API, which is at the end the return that operators get from the subscribers. So you can see that it's stable. While the cost of the infrastructure has increased a lot. So it means that who is the one that has to really keep investing on the infrastructure? Because while the benefits are keeping at the same cost or maybe even reduced, the costs are getting increased. So here, for example, you have the mobile subscribers and penetration. So it is expected that 2020, there is only an increase of 2%. That's nothing. What does it mean? It means that we already have what's going to be in a few years. And the idea is that there is no more penetration. Everybody has a mobile phone. So the idea is that, think because there is not the drivers of growth that we had in the past, that users have to grow. So we are in a different era, in a different situation. And here we can see also the IoT connections. Okay, they increase, but maybe not as much as the infrastructure would enable them to increase. So then I have put here some examples of 6G applications, right? But the idea is to take into consideration the economic development, the social progress, the environment protection, and sustainability. And it's the first time, I have been 20 years working on technology, that the focus of the technology is much more focused on the impact, on the putting the user into the center rather thinking on the technology itself. And this is a change of paradigm too. Here, for example, we are working on positioning. For example, now we are able to make a positioning in one unique drone, which is something that you couldn't do in the past. But with one unique drone, I can know where a mobile phone is, which I would say with 5 meters calibration. But then we have different applications that can spin on the 6G action, right? Here, what the idea was also to see that what's the bridge that we have between the connectivity and the applications and the business ecosystems. So there are different drivers. These are the different topics that you will be thinking about when you are coding, I think, your applications, because you have to think on the service management, on the network capability exposure. So there are many functionalities that needs to be into consideration. Also, native on the data management, cloud-native pipeline. So there are many things that needs to be considered, but the idea is that everything is focused on a business application, on something that has to be monetized, because 5G has not yet been monetized properly. And if there is no money at the end, there is no one investing. So it's something that needs to be considered. Then entering into the open source, what we are doing now, it's changing really fast too. Maybe I don't know whether you are aware, but the idea is that we are moving from a closed proprietary boxes to open standards-based boxes. It seems nice. It's nice indeed. We have lots of open source frameworks that facilitate the development of new extensions, new functionalities. But then the issue is that whenever you had one box, then everything was under one control. Now when we have different boxes, different functionalities, everything is software. When everything is software, we have a problem that, what does it mean? It means that you have much more attacks, something to protect. So it's much more important, artificial intelligence, because you have to prevent all this equipment in order to see whether they are attacked or not. So we are entering a softwareization period. And whenever everything is software-based, it means that complexity also increases, right? And it's quite important to take this conceptualization, because we were having in the past something that, okay, you don't worry, someone is taking care of this. And now we have something which is full of vulnerabilities. Here is just an example. We created the first, because it was also one of the questions, right? In Barcelona, we created the first spin-off on 5G private networks. It was an eye-to-cut. It's called Neutron. But the idea is that we do technology in order to impact the ecosystem. Then we have another change, which is in terms of architectures. We are moving from vertical integrated to disaggregated. I don't know whether you know the ORAN, the Open Radio Access Network Alliance, which was created on 5G and is sponsored more in 6G. But the idea is that before we had big players, Nokia, Ericsson, Huawei. Now we are able to decouple this, to have multi-vendor, to have startups, to have smaller companies providing pieces of the elements that before were only provided by one vendor, which means that we are changing the business model. We are increasing the capabilities of new actors to come into the picture. However, for example, when thinking on troubleshooting, this is much more complex because you have here issues about problems. Which one is the responsible of the problem? How it impacts the next element that I have? So here again, AI is very much needed because we have to have a proper understanding of what's happening there and how we can preventively provide an information of when there is a problem, I know exactly what the problem is. But this is something which is very challenging because it's opening a market that since now was closed. And those people are somehow against. Operators wants to go here because we are reducing cost and we are facilitating the acceptance of the technology. For example, if we go to remote schools, it's much going to be easier to have a multi-vendor solution rather than one of these boxes which has hundreds of thousands of costs. Then Camara, another open source. I will not say open source because when we talk about open source, there are many things open. But the issue is that this goal is, even though I have been talking frameworks of open source, Camara is the first open API initiatives from the telecom communications. I mean, the telecom operators have joined forces in order to start thinking on how they can monetize their network. And the issue is that with the paradigm of 5G and 6G, before we were limited, restricted by the infrastructures. What does it mean? It means that I cannot think beyond of what the infrastructure can provide me. So I am limited on my mind. Why? Because I had to customize my application to the limitations of the application infrastructure. Now with SDN, with NFV, with all the tools that we have is different. What does it mean? It means that I can customize the infrastructure to the needs of my application, so I can grow exponentially. So I have no limits as I had before. The infrastructure can enlarge, is dynamic, is different, so it's a different philosophy. So it means that the operators have to be ready, because now we have new people with new mindsets that can make a request that they don't even expect. And now with Camara, what they are doing is that they are opening their infrastructure in order for third parties to start asking some information that before was not provided, in order to increase the level of applications. And now, for example, we in I2CAT created the first European innovation lab of Camara, dealing with open APIs. We joined efforts with Telefonica, Vodafone Group, and Orange. We are presenting results on the Mobile World Congress, the first results of this integration. But the idea is that for the first time, we have been able to put these operators to work together on some of this impact. Then also fast, AI, well, there are many things from the best of the prediction in terms of management, the BIM management, so position accuracy. AI is everywhere into the network, and this is a big challenge. So what we say here is that in the end, the telco edge inferencing approach is something that, well, it's amazing. I have to say only it's amazing because I see many developments that I hadn't seen it before. Then also in the satellite, we are working on the satellite communications. It's very much important because we have been working with the company that has been the first one putting narrowband IoT on how it's called? I know in English, the low Earth observation orbits, the LEO orbits satellites. Okay, and this is good because we are able to reach where the telecom operators does not reach. And this is something very challenging. Why? Because we are working with standards, 5G, PVP, Starlink, many others. They are closed products. You don't know what technology they are using. You don't know what protocols. You don't know what the information is. So nothing is under a standard. So we worked here with a company. Well, it's not a technology. But for example, we have been working with a satellite, which is a Catalan company. It's the first one putting a constellation about narrowband IoT. And they are working under a standard of 5G with a 3GP PPP, which means that things are happening in Barcelona too, dealing on technology and how to reach areas. And the idea is that we worked on that in order to reach the areas that in Catalonia operators does not provide services. For example, mountains where there are hiking people that get lost, how we are able to at least send IoT information. Then this last two slides, but I will show you, for example, when we are working on 6G. As I said to you, with one drone, one unique drone, we are able to monitor people. Before you needed 3 drones to triangulate, to understand where they were. So things are changing because with 6G, I have new capabilities on the protocol that allows me to monitor this type of devices. We are working on reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, which are like this, which means that in the future, you will be able to have these panels into the buildings, and you will be able to redirect the beams that you have, which means that I could be able to follow a person and to provide the service directly. It means increasing capacity, and also it will allow that the radio don't enter into the building and having another network inside that doesn't go out. So things are changing dramatically. It's amazing the evolution that we have. And I think that this is the last one. Yeah? Yeah, no, two slides, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I thought it was finished. Another one that we are working, when working with 6G on positioning in high frequencies, we are working with as small as the nano sensors that we have, but how we are able to put the sensors into the blood system, or how we are able to put into the gastric systems, and then how we are able to monitor precisely where the sensor is. Because then we will be much more accurate in health on how to prevent or how to, for example, detonate some capsules that you have or pills at the right place whenever it reaches there. So technology, as I said, is spanning. Sometimes we see only telecommunications, but it is going in different fields in different areas. And then there is the one, for example, that we are putting in mission. We will be announcing this and make a disclose in the mobile, but we will be the first organization putting what we call an open 6G lab in orbit, which is going to be it's a 6 units LEO satellite, but will allow people to validate new types of technology dealing with DSR with new frequencies of 6G and dealing with the concept of flexible payload, that by software I will be able to put another software payload into the satellite. But to validate issues about communication and how to reach, as I said, areas that maybe are not properly covered. Now, finished. Thank you. Been fast, but thank you. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you if you can go back to the neutron slice.
Yes.
I just want to take a photo. A picture.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Thank you very much.
Anyone has a question?
Thank you so much for the amazing workshop. I hope you all enjoyed it. And remember that if you'd like to get back to this presentation, this live stream is being saved on our Twitch channel. So you can just go to our Twitch, which is LabLab.ai, and rewatch it and take all the screenshots that you'd like. And now we'll move to the opening panel. The future of network is open source. We've got amazing guests who are Ziad Matar, the founding partner of Meditari, and Julia Gonzalez Alonso, senior business consultant at ATT Data. The panel will be moderated by Maria Antonia Bravo from the Giga team. I'd like to welcome them all and cannot wait for the panel actually, because I saw the first panel that we did in Geneva and it was amazing. So second edition, second panel, welcome. Thank you very much. If you could please take a seat over here.
I am
Okay.
perfect. Wonderful. Let me get my notes straight. Perfect. So thank you very much for joining us today. Hi, everybody. My name is Maria Antonia Bravo, and I am the Technology Program Manager with Giga. We just heard quite a lot about how the telecommunication system sector is changing, and it's changing everywhere. It's also changing in the global south. The changes that we make right now to our networks will have lasting impacts everywhere else in the world. I'm very happy to welcome Julia Gonçalves Alonso, Senior Business Consultant with NTT Data, as well as Siad Matar, founding partner of Meditari, for our panel today. And just briefly over the panel, we'll have a quick conversation on the future of networks and how that future is open source. It's great that we'll get the chance to piggyback from the words that Naroa opened the floor with today, as well with the conversation or the keynote that Sergi just delivered on our side. Just to frame a little bit the space of why we are here. So some of you may not know, but Giga is a joint initiative between UNICEF and ITU. And you would think, why would they even be working on school connectivity? On one hand, we have UNICEF, which is an agency for children, and it's also the largest procurer of, for example, pencils or vaccines. So it's an organization that knows how to buy things and how to buy it well. And then on the other hand, if you are familiar with the telecommunications sector, which I would like just to get a wave of hands of who in the room is familiar with the industry overall. Just, come on, both of you need to raise your hands as well for sure. Telecoms, cool. Somewhat, right. But surely you would know about ITU. It's the International Telecommunications Union, which is the entity that sets the regulations and the standards overall for the sector. So these two organizations came together with a very distinct objective of connecting every school in the world. Now, the schools that maybe you and I went to certainly don't look the same in other places of the world. Where, for example, I grew up in a school that was connected. I've always had connectivity. I've sometimes given it for granted. But there are other schools, for example, where teachers bring their cell phones or they have a dongle that they connect to their computer, and that's how they get connectivity. There may be one device in the school, and this device is maybe 15 years old, so it's not up to date with the technology that is needed to maybe support digital education. So we've just heard, for example, that the telecommunications sector is changing, and it's changing rapidly. It's becoming more programmable, more software-based. We're talking about 6G already when there's places in the world that haven't even moved to 4G. We're talking about convergence as well as this new paradigm of connectivity. So I'm very happy to have this panelist today join me in talking a little bit about the trends that are shaping the ecosystem and hopefully sharing some valuable information with you that can help you maybe situate the problems that you want to tackle in the hackathon in the context that Giga works. So to get started, Julia, I would start with you. If you could share maybe a little bit from your work or from your knowledge generally, what major trends are shaping the future of network infrastructure? And if you could just talk a little bit about how AI, open source, and decentralization are trends as well in this imagined future.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, good afternoon, everyone, and I'm so happy to be here having this discussion. So I would say that critical trends today to consider are, first of all, the automation and intelligence in network management. Here, AI is a really game changer because it helps in managing real-time traffic of the networks. So basically, AI allocate resources where are most needed at a point in time. So, for instance, imagine a specific class in a school in Tanzania that are sitting online exams. So capacity can be dedicated to this specific requirement by this reducing the risk for disruption during the exam, so affecting the results of the exam itself. So here also AI can predict potential failures in the network, but not also that AI can provide automatic solutions that self-heal to these failures. So this ultimately it reduces to reduction in cost, in operational costs, but also less disruptions and also more reliable services. Sorry. So I would say this is one of the key trends. Maybe I don't know if we need to switch or I should continue with other trends.
I would ask the same question to Siad, and then we can see where we stand after that.
Okay, perfect. So another trend I would say that is the customization and modernization of networks through open source. Because this is a suitable way to do it, because it really allows to reduces the vendor lock-in as we saw it, and to really not be expanding like so much in capital intensive network refreshes, but to really focus on these open source solutions. So third trend, I would say that it's also decentralized networks, because traditional centralized networks are often expensive and capital intensive. So, and especially in countries, in rural areas and in server areas where there's outdated infrastructure. So here decentralization brings the contents and the resources closer to the end user at a lower cost, and faster. So this improves user experience at the end. And also I would say that, as Sergi mentioned, a key trend is the evolution of 6G and the advancement on standardization of 6G too. So here, as also was mentioned, AI is key because reduces these complexities and improves this security that these new technologies required. And maybe last but not least, it's sustainability as one of key objectives in network operations, because as the demand for data grows, also the energy consumption for this network infrastructure it's higher. So here AI, as I said, helps in managing traffic and dynamically assigning demand. So this also reduces the need for energy. So this can be optimized. And also maybe here open source, it also contributes because really open source can create energy efficient solutions that can be widely adopted. So at the end, I would say that AI, open source, and decentralization, it's not only shaping the future of networks, but providing really resilient, scalable, and also, I would say, gettable connectivity to really connect and empower children in the world. Real.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Ziad.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Maria Antonia. Thank you, Julia. I actually come from the telecom industry. As you said, I worked for 22 years in big telecom companies, but I put a different hat recently. I work more in communications. So when I saw this panel, I got really scared because I thought, how can I say something that Julia didn't say? So she gives you the information. I'll try to give the inspiration. And maybe that, helps, consider this the happy hour of Friday. And then this way we will balance this panel a little bit. So, in fact, in May, Giga launched their new product, Giga Maps, in Barcelona, and we were lucky to be there and see it. And they did a very nice presentation. If you look at the Giga logo, it's made of dots, and they are connecting the dots. So they made a presentation about the 9 dots that changed the world. So I was looking at these dots that they mentioned. And you can see the dots on the map, exactly. And, a few dots try to inspire me to get, to try to make some analogies about kind of what Julia just said of the future of networks, specifically when it comes to AI. And one of the dots that was mentioned was the decimal dot. So with before we had the decimal dot, numbers were integers. So we had 1, 2, 3. We could go up as much as we want, but we couldn't go into the details. And then when the decimal dot was invented or created or discovered, suddenly we could be much more precise, and we could, get into more detailed calculations. More predictable numbers could come up. There's a huge infinity of numbers between 1 and 2 now that we could reach. And I guess this is what AI also brings to that matter. This ability to be much more precise in where we are going in terms of, okay, where is the demand coming from? What time is the demand coming from? What type of demand is going to be needed at what level? And that allows then, these networks to be ready for that. That allows the providers, that allows the schools and the authorities to plan things around that. So that was one of the dots. Let me see the other ones. The second dot actually refers a little bit more to relates a little bit more to the open source aspect of what we're doing today and the scalability. And that's the dot in the IP addresses. So as you know, there are dots in the IP addresses, and the IP address was a great invention. It allowed us to create internet and connectivity. And then, when IPv4 was no longer enough, we created IPv6 and beyond that. But that also was a big project of, well, it was not always open source, but open source came out of the internet at the end of the day. And that is something that shows how, putting minds together and allowing innovation to be decentralized and open, the way we are doing it right now, can really come up with new ideas that maybe, even in great institutions like we saw now in I2CAT, they are too focused on doing something. Now you can look at things that are, out of this weekend, something that we never expected could come up and surprise us all. And the third dot that came from that beautiful presentation was the LED. So the LED, is a dot that also brought a lot of efficiency to lighting things, but also was the basic of building screens. Eventually, today we have LED screens everywhere in our pockets, on the walls, behind us, in cars, in lighting in houses, etc. But also the LED then managed to transfer that information for us, whether it is in the fiber optic world, or actually in the world of the screens, in a very efficient way, allowing us to see the information that is not seen. So the pixel is the basic unit of information that allows us to see the digital world, and it's a fantastic idea that we can now see because of that. And we believe that there will be a lot of usage of AI and open sourcing in reducing the cost of energy, which is, I think, one of the hugest costs that are limiting that data and connectivity is accessible and affordable everywhere. So that's it.
Thank you. I hope hackers both in person and then also online are taking notes, because both Julia and Siad are giving you ideas of what to focus on. But what I'm hearing throughout this conversation is also that we're facing this new paradigm where there's an opportunity for modernization, and there's an opportunity for modernization for networks that are already cutting edge, that are 5G networks that, again, are all around us. But there's also an opportunity here for maybe other types of geographies, other types of networks that we work with. And it seems like, again, the telecom industry itself is moving to open source naturally, out of their own will, because they see open source as an opportunity. Now, I would ask both of you to maybe comment on this opportunity of open source, why it's crucial, and then if we put our Giga hat on and think about maybe outdated or underserviced networks, like the ones that are the object of the hackathon, what opportunity is there for open source? Why is that important?
I would say that open source is critical because it really, as said, it provides an opportunity or a sustainable way, let's say, to provide cost-efficient and scalable networks. So especially in these type of countries, in emerging economies, where the infrastructure is aging and there are high licenses costs here, if then open source, let's say that comes into the equation, because it helps to reduce costs and modernize networks. So for instance, let me put an example here of a community network called TunaNet. This is in Kenya. So in Kibera, just to put you in context, is one of the largest informal settlements in Africa. So although this is just 6 kilometers from the Nairobi city center, internet service providers don't find often commercially viable to really provide services and deploy infrastructure there, because they see that there are low expected returns. So this is when open source comes into the play, and then TunaNet really uses open source to create and maintain this a local wireless network there. So really leveraging on of open source software and with affordable hardware, they can provide cost-effective access to digital skills training, educational contents, and online services to this community that without that they cannot access to the internet. So really it shows how open source empowers innovation and this collaboration, and also because as you see, the continued improvements that we are seeing in local contributors can be reduced to these communities, because then internet service providers can then use it, and not having these lengthy proprietary development timelines and costs that really happens and that really needs for the proprietary solutions.
Lovely. Siad, what would you add to that already wonderful answer?
Exactly. See, I'm between a rock and a hard place, but behind me is the ocean, which, as Pavel said, it's a beautiful view. And guess what happened under the ocean? Life started, right? And life was, the first, is an open source experiment, right?
Okay.
Like we all try to improve, and we improve, and as organisms, we evolve. And so I thought about the octopus, because the octopus is a quite smart creature. In fact, it's smart in a very unconventional way. Its intelligence is spread around its tentacles. It's not centralized in its brain. So, and that is, a result of this, of course, open source evolution that we had, but shows us also the power of distributing again the contribution into an open source organism through multiple communities, multiple distributed resources. But then beyond the intelligence of the octopus had this adaptability. It is one of the most ancient organisms. So if we talk about like outdated network, it even looks outdated till now, but it's still such a smart creature, and it has been evolving and surviving despite many other kinds of creatures not being around. And this we have it a lot in the telecom world. I think in the most basic element is the SMS text message, which I still wonder why it's still here, but it's still here. It keeps finding ways to survive. Although initially it was not a mistake, but it was an afterthought. It was invented as a way for us telecom engineers to talk to each other when we were setting up the network, and then suddenly it became a huge messaging service, and now we use it for authentication. We get our OTP codes, etc. with it. So there's always, ways to, find use for old devices, for old network, for old spectrum, everywhere. And last but not least, the octopus is very agile. You can see it. It's going everywhere. It's adapts to the environment that's in it. Changes colors, it changes shape, it can look like a rock, etc. And that's also part of this whole evolution trait that it brings. So I hope you can inspire from that a little bit as well.
So think of open source as distributed intelligence, as agility, but also as democratization of now hardware, software capabilities, and access to information. I think we're running a little bit short, on time. So I'm gonna ask you to close the panel with a question that I didn't send you beforehand, but that is, if you could tell the participants on site and the participants also that are joining us remotely about why this is important to you personally, but also why you think this should be important to them as well, which is innovating with open source for the future of networks, what would you say?
Firstly, I would say that a key thing that we are talking about, you have to keep in mind, it's about affordability, because we see that in these countries, there's areas that actually there's a network there and there's infrastructure there. But the thing is that because of affordability, these people cannot be connected and cannot use these services. So this is crucial. And also because this happens, as I said before, so you can have connectivity in 5 kilometers, but then you are in an unserved area or rural area and you don't have this connectivity. So this doesn't happen here, but it happens there. So it's important. And maybe as a personal wish or how I see this initiative, and I would say that as Maria Antonia said before, I went to a school that having connectivity, it's normal for me, but I see that really there's people in some countries that they don't have this opportunity. And I think that it's not fair that we don't have equal opportunities. So I think that it's really an important job, so to contribute to that, to connect people and connect communities and to really be able to bridge this digital divide.
So a call to action and a North Star. Thank you.
Yes, from my side, again, inspiration from Giga. The last dot that they mentioned in their launch was the blue dot, which is Earth. So I don't know if you know the story when the probe explorer was leaving the solar system. It turned one last time and took some pictures of the solar system, and in it there was a picture of Earth, which was like a quarter of a pixel blue hanging in solar dust. And so Carl Sagan, who's a fantastic astrologist and writer, wrote a book about it called The Pale Blue Dot. And in this pale blue dot, there's all of us, and we live and we are happy and together, but yet also we make problems and wars and conflict and challenges. So I think for me it's about this, the why, as you said, is we want connectivity to help people connect and talk to each other and grow. And it's all about this message that we are bringing to the world. And for you, going back to the octopus, for this weekend you are the octopus, so see how you can do it.
I see.
Yeah. You are the octopus, so see how you can, collectively work, solve these challenges, and hopefully for the benefit of planet Earth.
Let's please give a round of applause to our panelists. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Back to you, Joanna.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Maria, Ziad, and Yulia, for an amazing and inspiring panel. And now I'd like to introduce the Emmanuel Iriarte, our AI architect, to give you the full hackathon walkthrough, so you know how to use the platform, how to properly submit your project, how to find the team. Time for Emmanuel. It's not the actually I can go back to the agenda. It's not the last thing before hacking. Emmanuel give us the hackathon walkthrough, and after that we'll close the live stream. So for the people who are watching us live, you can start looking for your team if you haven't done so yet. For the people on in here at Entity Data, you can spend some time networking. The food is here, talking with mentors, and simply gathering your team. And then we'll have another point of the on-site experience, which I will mention just after Emmanuel finishes.
Thank you, Joanna. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I prepared a quick video for all of you that are not familiar with how the platform works. So you know how to create a team, how to, maybe you are not even enrolled on the event yet. That has happened before. So let's take a quick look. Let's just hope I didn't do it too quick. So yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a high-level process of working in this hackathon. So first, you create or you join a team in the platform. The most popular channel of communication is Discord, but it's 100% up to you. I mean, if you have an on-site team, of course, you're going to talk with each other. You could have a hybrid team. For the people watching online, of course, you have online teams. So there's the option of using Discord. Come up with a few concepts, brainstorm something that aligns with the event, something that makes you excited about working on it. Ideally, this is not mandatory, of course. If you're not sure if your idea really aligns with the topic of the hackathon, always check with mentors. You can tag @mentors in Discord. I'll get to that in a second. And get a second opinion. It's always a good idea. Build a prototype and, of course, submit your prototype. Very important step. Now, yes, let's watch this video. If you can't find the hackathon, you have to go to LabLab.ai, select the AI hackathons. There you have AI for Connectivity Hackathon number 2. If you haven't registered, you click complete your registration. It's going to ask you to fill a form. You're going to submit all the information in the form. If you haven't done this, of course, and it's going to say waiting for approval. Eventually, we will do this as soon as possible. If you're already here and you haven't been approved, you will be approved and you will be able to open this instead. In here, you have some information about how to create a team. How do you get help? Take a look. It's at everybody's platform. You can create a new team, or you can explore the already existing teams. There's information like a short description. You can filter in their needs. You can see if somebody's looking for members and what type of skills are they looking, which time zone are they based, which is very important. And you can just scroll through the different teams to see if maybe you would like to join one. If you don't want to join a team, but you want to create one, then you just hit the create a new team. You're going to have to fill some information and then hit create new team. Let's fill this with an example. Of course, you put your description and then you just hit create new team. And then you're going to be able to see your team page. This is your team page where you have how much time. If you want to set it that you're looking for members, call for help, the button to submit the project, which is very important. And in there you can see your team members and the description, of course. Right now it's just me because I haven't invited anybody else. But if I want to invite someone, I just had to click add teammate. And then I'm going to be able to either use the link, which when I click it, you're going to see it's going to be copied into your clipboard. Or you can just find the username if you already know the username of your potential teammate in LabLab and you send that invite. I'm going to invite Justina, which is also part of our team, and she has been invited. So she has to accept the invite, of course. And once you're going to see right now, I'm added Human as well, which is also part of our team. I can remove him as I'm the team leader. I can give him the team leader position, which you see by the crown around my picture. You can edit your team information that you added at the beginning. And I believe, yes, of course, you can message your team through here as well. But of course, you can also do it in any other channel, but this is very practical to have it right there. So yes, one last important thing. We're going to see a little bit more of the submission process later on. I believe it's Sunday. For now, just keep in mind that only the team leader will see that submit project. If you don't have that crown, then don't worry about it. Only one person can submit. This is to avoid that 3 people in the same team submit. So yeah, that's the main walkthrough of all you have to know how to do until now, so you can participate. Of course, everybody should be registered by now. We covered that just in case. Please make sure you create your team. We have had the situation where people forgot to create a team and we reached the end of the hackathon and they couldn't even submit. We couldn't even postpone, give them 5 minutes because there was no team to give 5 minutes to. So super important, create your team, invite your teammates. If you don't have a team yet, which is 100% okay, if you're here, well, of course, talk to each other. I know already like a few people here that are looking for teammates. So network, that's one of the things you should take advantage if you're on site. If you're online or you're interested in having teammates online, which hybrid teams are, we see them all the time. Discord, we have Discord server. You can write there, maybe your idea, maybe your background, what type of skills you're looking for your team, and you're gonna see there's a lot of people in the same situation. So we're gonna be helping, trying to matchmake you with people that make sense. So if you need help, please find us either on site, on Discord. But yes, so you'll have time to make a team. Aim to have a team by the end of the day, of course. Here's a hackathon guide, which you had a little bit of time to scan if you want. This base has a little bit of what I already told you, some other information that might be useful for you during the hackathon. Okay, we're just waiting to see some people are scanning it. Okay, so how do I contact mentors? First, there will be mentors here on site. We will make sure you know who's who. And there's going to be also quite a few mentors online. You can always just go to our Discord server. You can find the AI for Connectivity channel in upcoming hackathons, and you can tag mentors like you see that example at mentors. You can also use the label at Giga Mentors, and then a mentor from the Giga team will help you. We're always keeping an eye there, so feel free to, even if you're on site but you don't know who to talk to, you can drop at mentor, I'm here, I need help with this. We're going to be right with you. Let's see. So yeah, about the project submission, as I mentioned, we'll talk the whole process later out during the hackathon. I just don't want to get your focus from that right now, from building. But there's deliverables which are very important. A product description, there's going to be a short one and a long one. A presentation, which I need to make a lot of emphasis. Please try to keep it shorter than 5 minutes. If it's too long, it will affect your scoring. 5 minutes is definitely enough. You probably need to balance communicating something with showing something. Make sure you get your message across. Building something cool is amazing, but if the person who's seeing it doesn't really understand what you build, then you're not going to get like too far. So be very clear, very concise, get your message across. The narrative is super important. So keep that in mind. GitHub link has to be an open repository, of course. We're working open source. Remember, everything has to be open source, both if you build on top of something and what you build. So GitHub link and a demo for the project. And lastly, this is the form for submitting your project. If you're curious, you can go to your team page, click submit project. Nothing's going to happen. Don't worry, you can go back. Even if you submit something, you will be able to change it up until the deadline. So if you're curious, click it. You're going to see a form. It's going to ask for a few fields, and then you just click enter. It's very, very intuitive, but we're going to dive further into that later on, and we're here to help also when it's time to submit. So that is it for the time being. We're going to have a short break. There's some refreshments in the back. And at 6, we're going to be right back for innovation coaching. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I love to see new faces, love to see familiar faces. Can't wait to see what you build. Let's take this short break so everybody gets a little bit of fresh air or just stretch your legs, and we'll be back. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Emmanuel, for the hackathon walkthrough, and we really hope it makes it easier for you to navigate through our platform for the next 48 hours and make sure you seamlessly can work on your amazing ideas. So for the online part, thank you for everybody tuning in live with us. I'd like to remind you that at 6:30 p.m. CET, we've got an online session on Discord with mentors. So I really encourage joining that to ask any questions that you might have. And for the on-site part, we'll also have innovation coaching with Cornelia Pressing from Entity Living Lab. So thank you so much for tuning in. Happy hacking, best of luck. And on-site, we'll take a short break to network a bit, eat something, and we'll be back with the innovation coaching soon. Good luck, hackers.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.